Ladies and gentlemen, the story you are about to see is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent.
Practically every one of the top 40 records being played on every radio station in the United States is a communication to the children to take a trip, to cop out, to groove. The psychedelic jackets on the record albums have their own hidden symbols and messages, as well as all the lyrics of all the pop rock songs. And they all sing the same refrain. It's fun.
This is a special request. We don't want you to smoke genetically modified ganja. We want you to smoke the real thing. We want you to smoke the natural herb. Some call it marijuana, some call it sensimilla, some call it lamb's bread, and some people call it
Here we are. Well, welcome to a third installment of what we were formerly calling CD Wednesday, and then we changed it to CD Weedsday, and now the third week we've decided to drop all of the seediness and go straight to me, the seediest guy, I guess.
Yep, Seed King.
So it is now officially called the Adam Dunn Show, which to me sounds very strange because, I don't know, it's kind of weird. Adam
Call
Dunn.
it the Flargle Express.
It could be called the Flargle Express, especially with my Flargle assistant on my sidekick here, keeping the Flargle rolling. That's how we do every day.
Every day.
But I want to welcome everybody to this show, and I also want to welcome. We got a couple new sponsors. It looks like on the horizon. I'm just going to throw it out there, strain-wise. Even if you do not sponsor me, I'm sponsoring you right now by hooking you up. They have 5 shops, and I'm trying to make them realize that radio is the way to go because this is internet radio. We can talk, we can show people stuff, we can do reviews. So we're going to be talking with them this next few weeks and hopefully working that little thing out. We've also got Bolt Bags on board, and Harry from Bolt Bags is a good old friend of mine, and he is at Champs this week, as are a million companies, it seems like. Well, a million, just 400 or something. But it is a very cool show. We were there yesterday. And, we had Tommy Chong in the booth. That was pretty awesome. And it's the first day. So, trade shows always kind of build up. So today's a pretty big day. I'm missing it right now by being here.
And you lost your intern in the bus.
Yeah, I did lose my intern on the bus. Try to stay off the dab bus if you're working for somebody, because that usually is part of the deal. She got lost on the dab bus. I actually don't know how you get lost on a bus personally. So usually buses go from like A to B, and then you kind of get off. So to get lost on one means, it's a pretty big bus. But yeah, so we have Champs going on, and Bolt Bags. For those of you not familiar with Bolt Bags, they are incredibly well-made, food-grade bags for making hash, and they have, he's really improved his stuff over the years. I've watched him kind of grow from having just real simple original bag style to he has these ones that are long shaped and they really work good because they drain really fast, and then he has like complete mesh bags, which also makes like a real kind of a light, really special quality of hash too. So it's like it's from Humboldt. They definitely got enough material to work with to practice this stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm going to welcome Harry to the show as far as being a sponsor. I'll have him on the show. Harry's a great guy. I'll give him calls in, and we'll see what he's up to because he is an active dude on the move, and he's at every trade show pushing his products and, making the world a better place by getting more people to make hash.
Bubble.
That's more bubble, I think.
More
That's
bubble.
a good I think that it's interesting to see how this industry's evolved because now that dabbing is so big and everybody's so into it, it's actually funny to watch the people who are, the farther into it because they tend to go back to the original stuff. Now we're all smoking flowers and going, this is really crazy. We're smoking flowers, So I think it's kind of like, I think of the water hash too. And I think they're now talking about doing a solventless cup completely because they only had one entry this time at the last secret cup. Or no, at the extract artist. They only had one solvent, so one solventless. So it was kind of like, well, yeah, of course he won.
Nice.
That's how you win. When you have one entry, you're going to win, right? Yeah. So it was kind of like, well, I think we need a little more competition in that world, it seems like, because one entry, one win. That's usually not much of a contest.
First, second, and third sweet.
Yeah, he actually did all 3, I think. Yeah, he should have won all the awards. Here you go.
Nice.
So anyway, well, today is a pretty interesting day. We've got there's all sorts of stuff going on here in Colorado. We have the Drug Policy Alliance is going on, so there's tons of people in town from all over the world coming to see what's going on here in our beautiful city of Denver. And I think most of them are more than impressed, especially on the fact that, we're so close now to this whole legalization getting to become a reality that it's still a lot of unknowns, and everybody's sort of wondering how it's going to all work. And me too.
Well,
I'm wondering how it's going to all work.
Hotels are booked. People are going to want weed come January 1st.
Yeah, I think I said this last week. I'm afraid for January. January's going to be crazy. It's cray-cray over here. It's going to be there's definitely going to be a lot of disappointed people because I don't know how they're going to keep up with this pace.
I think January 1st at MED is doing like a everyone can sell weed to everyone special day. Not sure.
I don't know about that.
That'd be pretty crazy.
That sounds like that movie where everyone gets to kill somebody.
Everyone gets to kill someone.
So we're not going to have any rules on this day. Everybody can just do what they want.
No rules.
That would be interesting. But so we have the Drug Policy Alliance in town. So like I said, I have friends in from South America. I've got people in from all over the place, and that's one of the places you got to keep an eye on is South America right now because I think that they're going to beat us. I mean, did you hear about the whole Uruguay $1 a gram? I mean, that's
$1 a gram. Let's go to Uruguay.
That's it. We're all moving to Uruguay. I hope it's good. I mean, $1 a gram.
Uruguayan.
But we do actually have in town right now are some of the people that are responsible for the whole Uruguayan situation as it stands because, I mean, it was really grassroots way that they did this, and that it's nice to see that they're actually looking at it from a real social point of view because they're trying to bring down the price to $1 a gram. Obviously, because the economy is not quite as strong as maybe here, but at the same time, cannabis in general, if it was grown in greenhouses and grown in quantity, it would come down to about that price, and that's just the way it is. And that's kind of the part where I think a lot of people get. I mean, they're like, wishing it was the old days when they made tons of money. But at the end of the day, I'd rather have people make less money per unit and be safe, you know what I mean, and not go to jail because that is a big cost.
That is really nice to be able to smoke weed, not worry about, I could go to jail for this.
Well, it's a major. I mean, one of the points of living in Amsterdam for so long was the fact that you kind of lose your guard a little bit because you're so used to just being able to do what you do. But then as it changed over there, people started to get in trouble. They didn't have much of they didn't really know how to maneuver themselves, you know what I mean? So they would always, like I said, like I was telling you before, I had friends in Amsterdam who'd never had to buy weed from anybody except a coffee shop, And so when they traveled, they had no idea what to do. They didn't even know. They were like, just, what do I do?
There's no weed store.
And then it's like, well, you actually have to maybe, ask a few people, do a little hustling, figure it out. I mean, we're in a weird time now. There's actually websites devoted just to scoring weed, and you can look it up. You know that site?
Bud Trader?
No, there's one I've seen before where you can just look up, you just pick up any town, and it will tell you generally where to find cannabis in that town. Whether it be like walk down this street, take a right, come back over here, and you'll see some shady guy or something. So it was that direct. It was pretty interesting. How are you doing?
Here's Sam.
Good. Sam's in the house. So, so it's interesting to see how in the next few years how this whole thing evolves here because what you'll get like some people who kind of grow up in the industry and then to them it's just the normal thing and that's kind of how we that's how these generations we just have to kind of kick out the old generation, move on to the next, and it's also part of the deal of getting people used to the smell and it's such general stuff.
Yeah.
But we're getting there.
Getting close. I mean, a year ago today, I was I finished up my community service to get my weed charge in DC dismissed.
Good job.
Yeah.
At least you went and did it.
You know what's crazy? I didn't get drug tested for a weed charge. They just made me go to community service.
I know, and then they'll drug test you for alcohol charges. It's like, well, actually, I was drinking. I wasn't smoking. So you kind of want to test them for what they were in trouble for in the first place, wouldn't you? You'd think.
I mean, I was pretty happy when I go there. They're like, I got no drug test. I was like, cool.
Yeah, no, it's I find it really interesting when people get stuck into these situations. Like I met a kid the other day. He lost his license and he had to get he couldn't smoke because he was getting tested, and it was like a really weird. It had nothing to do with drugs. Had nothing to do with even drinking. It was like a completely separate thing. But it's just they put you into a. They like to put you in a little program. Yeah, programs are great. Great for getting money, great for watching people, making sure that people are like branded as whatever, what we decided that they are now. Oh,
you're now an addict.
You have smoked cannabis and been in trouble with the law. So, yeah. Also, today, I'm not sure if he's going to make it because, you know how these guests are. They big talk on the day before. We had a party last night at the lab. I don't know if any of you people were out there, but if you were lucky enough to be there, it was a Champs after party for the first day, and it was really, really good. It worked out.
It was fun.
Of course, everyone comes late. They think that, but this is a trade show. We have to get up early and go to the next day. So I don't. They come in late, and then they all kind of rushed off at the very last second.
Yeah, they're all like, "Oh shit, we gotta wake up at like 6 a.m."
Yeah, the reality kicks in. Trade shows are fun, but they're also the same style over and over. You always wake up like Krusty's trying to get to the thing, and you're late, and then there's always like one or two people that are bright and early there, making you look bad. It's always the same.
Coffee, wearing a suit, saying "Chippy-o."
Exactly. The suits. But I saw some pretty cool products down there at Champs. I'm gonna actually. I didn't really peruse as much as I normally do. I was trying to work the booth, but they had one company there that I thought was kind of cool. It was they spelled it EYCE like ice, but it was a ice bong mold, so you could make a bong out of ice and then use it until it melts, basically. It was kind of cool. Nice. I liked it. It was a conceptually cool. It's something that I think I've brainstormed the idea, but obviously never put pen and paper and did it. But I like when people do things you thought of. It's like, hey, thought of that. Hey, I thought of that. But it was really cool. I think that was one of the interesting products, just because it was such a random thing. Obviously you need a freezer. That's probably the hardest part, right? But besides the freezer and the storage and the ability to
Colorado, in 2 months you can just stick it outside.
But I saw some great glass. As always, ridiculous glass going on. Trade shows, I have a hard time with it though, because there's so much of it. You're trying to focus on something, and it's like if you just took that one piece and put it outside and looked at it on its own, it's incredible. But once you put it on the table with 200 other ones, it's like it does get lost in the shuffle sometimes. So I have my head spins sometimes when I'm there. I'm like, wow, there's so many products coming out, and it's good to see. That's the one thing about cannabis too. You'll notice that the creativity side is so high, and the fact that people are, they got a problem, they want to solve it. We're all problem solvers, like MacGyvers and problem solvers. So if somebody comes up with a problem solver that works, then all of a sudden they want to, capitalize on it and then injection mold that idea into something. And last time I was there, it was all pens. There's still a lot of them, but they're definitely filtering down. I think people are figuring out that there's good pens and there's bad pens, and they don't buy the bad pens anymore if they can, and it's slowly whittling it down. But like last time I went to the show, I think there was probably about 200 pen companies. It was crazy. This time a bit more toned down. So, and no smoking in the convention center of anything at all. So it's been kind of a strange, slightly sober situation there. Obviously, we're all bad boys at heart, so none of us stopped. We all had to figure out our way. But it's just a matter of, it wasn't like in Vegas. In Vegas, I was quite surprised. Everybody was blazing away, and you're in Vegas, and here we are in Denver, where we think we should be blazing away, and then all of a sudden we can't. So I was like, that was a little disappointing, I'd have to say. But besides that, the show's looking really good. The guys who run it have been running it for almost 20 years, I think now. It's really the longest running glass show out there. And interesting to see them too. I've been to shows in Vegas a bunch of times, and Vegas is Vegas, so you just kind of go, hotels all look the same, the food's all crap. So it's kind of like, you just get used to it. You get used to it, Yeah. So, but it's nice to do a show here and be able to go home and stay with the family and stuff. So
you don't have to stay in this creepy motel where you worry about the things crawling on you at night.
Yeah, the old bed bugs or something. Awesome.
Sleep with like a plastic towel over the plastic wrap the bed and sleep on top of it. Like, oh God, please don't touch me.
Well, I don't know if it's that bad, but
don't stop in Hagerstown, Pennsylvania. All their motels are like that. And don't break your car in Hagerstown, Pennsylvania, because their motels suck.
There you go, guys. Word of advice from Flargle over here. If you happen to be in, where is it, Hagersville?
Yeah, something, H-Town, Harris, something. It sucks. It's a big mountain.
H-Town.
And it's like boondock hillbilly gangsters.
Perfect. And
pretty
you
weird.
made it out alive, I see.
Yeah, I just slept in the scary motel, felt things crawling on me early in the morning, ran to the rental car place, and then went on my way snowboarding.
Wow, there you go. There's a little Flargle antidote for you. The bed bugs of Flargle's life.
Yeah.
So,
Didn't get any. That was good.
No, not at all. So what are you guys doing there? You testing? You still testing? Is this a sativa or indica?
It's indica, but it's not test. I'm all done.
You're done testing?
We are done testing.
Yeah, I still got like about 6 things left because I've been lame. I just been like,
They all taste like mold now.
I did one in
No, they don't.
done one in the morning when I woke up.
Well, you know, I had my critique. There was only one little critique I had, which I said, you guys got to give me more weed if you really want me to test this stuff, because Graham doesn't. I don't know if I'm rolling just bigger joints than ever, because I couldn't really get a proper joint out of all of them. I'd be like, nah, this once or twice it was okay, but then a couple times it was a little skimpy, and then it's kind of hard to judge because, you know, basically just give me more weed and I'll judge it better. That's how it comes down to. I was like, I already told David. I was like, David, I love it. I need more weed.
More weed.
Because I need to be able to test it in 2 places. That was part of the deal. I was like, I got to be able to at least test it once, and then if I think it's good, I'll put it up to the next tier, and then I'll knock it back down if I don't like it the second time, you know, because it changes every time. Like sometimes in the morning, things taste awesome because everything's just ready for it. The second joint, you know, kind of kills it or something. I had stuff that actually took the flavor out of my mouth. I thought, what is going on here? Like,
What?
yeah, it was a hybrid. I'm not going to tell you the number because I don't want to make anybody feel bad, but it was definitely reverse flavor. I was like, I've taken any bit of flavor out of my mouth, and I was like, this is not good. You know, I'm supposed to be putting stuff into my mouth, so keep the flavors in, please. Don't do the reverse. But it was weird because it smelled really good. It was like, you know, hey, this smells really good. Boom, this tastes terrible. So that's not a good thing if you're going to be in competition. You got a lighter for this, or do I have to do a magnifying glass?
Magnifying glass and 40-watt light bulb.
That'll take a while. It's almost like when I was in Amsterdam, someone gave me a magnifying glass bowl thing, and I stood outside for about 15 minutes, and I was like, this is definitely not going to work in Amsterdam. I was like, this is not, the sun is not intense enough. It's like cloudy days, and we're just kind of rotating it, hoping for the best, and it wasn't happening. So, but I love the concept. I think it's awesome.
Glass bowl with it.
Yeah, it's just got a little flip, and it kind of goes up and down. Like I said, great idea, especially, you know, like out hiking or something where you actually can pop it off. But not good when you're under stress and you need to get a bowl lit. Plus, the minute you start lighting it with a lighter, you've kind of killed that bowl. You need to clean it all out and start all over again, because the whole point of it was to have the non-flaming, you know what I'm talking about.
Sunlight smoke. Sun smoke. Yeah, used to do that in high school. Had the roar set up in the window, had the magnifying glass set up, had the spoof, and trying to blow it all out the window, thinking that my friend's room won't reek of weed, as his mom's coming home from work and comes upstairs and starts yelling at all of us in Taiwanese, and we're all just like, oh, what's going on?
Another great antidote from Flargle. This kid's full of them, you know.
I know. You gotta try magnifying glasses
It's good.
in high school.
No, again, like, any way to consume without burning a flame is awesome, you know. Like, it just tastes different. Fedor, I don't know, I've probably mentioned on the show before, Fedor, which is a little black box with a little ceramic tip. Kind of the first, it was before the nails really became popular, and it was about maybe about 8 years ago or something like that, 9 years ago. And I love those things, man. I would everything just tasted so much better, and I was a total advocate. It just was dangerous, man. The thing was like having a constant burning hot ember in your place, you know? What do we got on the chat? Anything exciting?
Somebody said it will always be CD Weed Wednesdays to me.
Oh, well, there you go. Well, you know, like I said,
Yeah.
we're not changing it for any reason besides we had somebody out there who was hating on it. So I said, you know what? No problem. I've got plenty of ideas in our heads, and hey, how about use my name? There you go. There's an angle. That was actually Flargle's idea. Flargle.
That's pretty
Congratulations, Flargle. You had an idea. Yay. I was going to call it Jokers and Smokers because I figured that's what we are pretty much. We're not really talking too deep about anything. We're trying to keep it light as much as possible, but at the same time, deliver some sort of knowledge, whether it be, and secretly though, that's the way to do it. You got to it's like giving people comic books to learn stuff, and they're like, "Whoa, this is funny," and then you're like, "Oh, well, you made me learn." Especially the religious ones are the worst though. Like when you think when you're a kid and you got those religious comics, and you were sitting and you're like, "Hey, this is pretty cool," and then all of a sudden it's like, "Da da da da, Jesus," okay? You're like, what is going on here? It was always like when you're in a waiting room at a dentist or something, you're like, these are weird, like Christian comics or something.
Yeah, but they
Love
never
those.
show like the good stories, like where the brothers have to kill each other.
Yeah, it's always something. Yeah, but they do. They kind of like take like Cain and Abel. They'll do that story, but they'll modernize it and put like new characters in it. And you're like, well, obviously they don't kill the brother or the son. Or
They
whatever,
should
but
do like a New York edition, so like Cain goes up
Gangster.
to Abel and it's like, oh motherfucker,
There you go. That's what they should do.
Jesus. And then you can have a trans DJ come out of the background. BG is like,
That's all he's wanted. Actually, this is all he's wanted to do all day is do this. He's been talking about it since we got here. He needs to do Jesus poses all
Jesus
morning.
pose. We're gonna get to the full angle.
There you go. This is Tiesto. There you
Yep.
go. Boom. Oh,
Trans
you're out.
DJ.
You're in. You're out.
Oh,
Thank you. That was the Asian Tiesto, if you haven't recognized.
Coming to the next super club near you for too much money.
Tiestro. What up, Tiestro?
Hello.
Hello. So, yeah, like I said, a busy week. We got champs for the next 2 days. We had a party last night. It was pretty cool. We had DJ Bobby B from Cottonmouth Kings playing, which he's actually become almost like a regular at the Hood Lab. This is about the third time I think he's played, fourth time now, and
He's good.
he's awesome. The thing is that he really has a full range. Like he's not pigeonholing.
He's a DJ.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And I would explain this to many people out there. People who DJ for themselves are not really DJs. People who DJ for the crowd out there, those are the DJs because they understand how to work a crowd. And that's one thing with him. He understands, like, we don't definitely need to have the same beat all night long. Of course, I'm guilty of that. 'Cause
Drum and bass
I'm
all night.
a drum and bass person who doesn't like anything else. Not that I don't like anything else. I just usually gravitate towards it. But
a couple
with
different track lists and
but-
your like 10,000 drum and bass songs.
yeah, no, I have a good mix. It's just that it's about 90% drum and bass. So but his mixes were great because he's like between reggae and hip hop, and he's he's definitely well-rounded. He might even show up today. We'll see. We're working on it. It's hard to get people out of bed, It's like, come to my radio show. It's between 11 and 1, and, we just had this raging party last night, and you probably won't show up. That's what usually happens. So, but we can only hope. So I'll get a call in a minute, and we'll find out.
Nice.
That'll work, yes. And so, yeah, we had the party last night, and then this Drug Policy Alliance thing. I wish were you there by any chance? The Drug Policy Alliance? Does anybody know what's going on? Because I talked to people.
Denver to do drugs,
No, they don't.
and then they made an alliance.
That's not what happened. but in general, obviously there's so much going on in the world right now that I'm sure that it's not just focused here on Colorado, but the whole entire world as we speak. And it'll be interesting to find out. I'm going to talk to some people today, and I'm sure on the next show next week we'll have a kind of rounded view of what did go down. But it was a good idea to bring the two. Obviously, I don't think they actually planned it, but to have the two shows at the same time kind of works really well. It's like when we do, when I did Champs out in Vegas, they had Champs next to Magic, which is a big clothing trade show, and so I could kind of bounce between the two shows. And this is almost more direct because this is like political people mixed with industrial people that are in the industry and people doing stuff, and that's usually ends up with a lot of new products out there and people with maybe money coming in and kind of can do a little crossover. So hopefully a lot of people from the Drug Policy Alliance can make it to Champs, check it out. And obviously I don't think we can do the same because I think it's kind of like a closed off thing, but as long as we get something out of it.
What if we tell them we're there to teach you about marijuana?
Teach you about marijuana?
We know about marijuana and marijuana accessories. What you need to know about marijuana? I saw marijuana accessories all day at the propane store. My name's Hank Hill.
Wow, this kid's coming out of his shell today, huh?
I had a bunch of coffee this morning. I was all like, that's what happens when you run out of weed.
Yeah, jittery.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've got So this week we've also got, we might have Snoop Dogg's tour manager coming through.
Super interesting guy.
Yeah, he's got a lot of good stories. Can't tell you most of them. That's the only problem.
Yeah.
He ends up.
He'll tell you a really good story and be like, oh, I can't tell you the rest of it.
Yeah, it's usually like, we stop at a certain point. It's like, oh, and I can't go any further.
And then we all went home. Oh!
So, but hopefully he's coming through with some stories. His name is Ricky Palomino, good old friend of mine. He's in town checking out Champs, also working on some projects that I would wait for him to come to talk about. But he's dabbling in our industry too. I think one of the things that working with Snoop for so long, I mean, he's been approached by so many people with different kinds of ideas and stuff. And I think right now that it's getting to the legitimate legal side, it starts to become more interesting. Before that, it was kind of like, it's hard to endorse products when they're all kind of like quasi-legal. But now that it's getting somewhere, I think to mix artists and endorsing products, it's a good idea just because I think people would trust people more that they when they know that it's like, especially with cannabis, it's like you're not going to have somebody who doesn't smoke cannabis tell you, like, here, buy my product. When they try to sell you the product, it just doesn't make sense. You're like, do you even smoke? You can tell right away. So I think part of it is, and when you have endorsements of actual celebrities or musicians, and then it becomes more real. And it's like, then, I mean, obviously Willie Nelson and Snoop and all these people we all know smoke, but I think also as bands,
Snoop Dogg smokes.
I heard that. Heard that.
That's
I've heard that
strange.
before. But as other people realize, it's funny because now, like, for instance, Justin Bieber's a big smoker, right? So I mean, it doesn't mean anything.
Do you believe in weed?
It doesn't really mean anything to me whether you're you're not automatically cool because you smoke weed. But I'd have to say, I did have to give him like that much more of like, really, he smokes that much? Because a friend of mine is his personal masseuse, and she told me that he basically needs a blunt while he's getting a massage. He's smoking a blunt, which is kind of like not that comfortable because you're facing down and smoking your face. I don't think it's the greatest idea, but he has to smoke a blunt while she's giving him a massage. So that's kind of a funny one. And he has a bong on the table since he was 18 at the dinner table while he's eating dinner. So that's what the security guy said, is the day he turned 18, brought the bong out and hasn't stopped. So got to give him a little bit of credit. Could have been worse. That's for sure. But in general, like I said, celebrity endorsements are awesome because it definitely makes people see that that we're all kind of getting on the same page. And you thought of something?
I forgot.
Where's your computer, Mister?
No,
I
saw the craziest thing on the news. I don't know if it's real. I don't know if it's fake. But Miley Cyrus apparently shot up some crocodile in her leg.
No, stop.
Dude, there's like news articles. I think it's all fake, but
look it up. Miley Cyrus crocodile.
Because I don't know, someone seems kind of fake because they're like, she was twerking frantically till the wee hours of the morning. Said one witness. It's like, what?
Oh, come on now.
Yeah.
She's shooting up crocodile and twerking.
Crocodile and twerking, don't do it. It's
a bad combo.
Too much.
Well, that's pretty good news. I mean, but technically, where's your computer? What are you supposed to? Aren't you supposed to be the sidekick?
I know.
His job is to look up stuff,
news.
and then you look it up, and then
that smell ordinance might not even make it to the ballot because it kind of contradicts everything about Amendment 64, which that lady brought up. Like, if everyone's allowed to carry an ounce on them, then how can you get arrested for it smelling if your Constitution says?
Yeah, no, I already said that. I already said it wasn't constitutional, and it's definitely not going to pass because it's like it makes no sense. It's just what we call a knee-jerk reaction to the fact that they're hating the fact that we're winning this situation, and it's like it'll take a while, but it will end up clearing itself up. Oh, what is this? Was that a new Hood Lab site?
Yeah.
By the way, my sidekick Flargle's good for something sometimes. He actually managed to launch our new website.
So a little bit of tweaks here and there.
There's a little bit of tweaks. What do you expect from Flargle?
Yeah.
But at the same time, it is it's 100 times better than our old site. Sorry, Mitch, for the old site, but yeah, it was a little bit weak.
Hey, look, the first picture is you and Chong.
There you go. Me and Chong.
You and Chong.
Me and Tommy. Actually, I gave him a jacket about 5 years ago in Amsterdam, so it was kind of easy for me just to see how he was doing and did he still have his jacket. And he was like, yeah, I've still got it, actually.
Nice.
Of course. That's one good thing about giving people high-quality products is they tend to hang on to them. It's like...
And you can't really break a hemp lem jacket.
Yeah, or you just can't...
Flargle
Or
proof.
it's not like when you hand somebody weed and they smoke it all and they forget who gave it to them. That's usually the case with artists and cannabis. You're like, here. And then later they just forgot who even gave it to them. So you found the crocodile-related abscess. Is it true? Wow, this is pretty interesting stuff. Pretty good.
Yeah.
You heard it here live.
Live.
This is going to be total
This
crap.
is-
I can tell it's crap just by looking at it. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's some crazy videos out there about crocodile amputations. If you ever think about doing crocodile, watch these YouTube videos first. People,
Who is thinking about doing crocodile? Nobody.
I don't know, people in Arizona.
Really?
Arizona, stop it.
Yeah, no, it's not a. It's definitely not a progression in the drug world. You don't want to do things that make your body rot off. That's kind of a bad sign. That's like usually, yeah, this is not good. Apparently, that stuff is so powerful that people within a month are already having like health issues like that. It doesn't take long. So yeah, anything you inject is probably a bad idea to begin with.
Don't do it.
But when you start talking about having necrotic related abscesses, really want to stay away from those things. Are you in shock over there, or what's going on? You can't believe it.
Tell if it's true.
I know, it's just
there
so
a-
weird.
is
It's
there
like twerking till the wee hours of the morning. Like, really?
Is there an onion anywhere on the page? Do you see
I
an
already
onion?
looked.
Do you see a secret onion somewhere? Like, that's usually the key right there. It was like the other one that we saw a couple weeks ago. That one with the
Oh, yeah.
with Congress. You saw the one with Congress where they changed the text.
Da,
It's
da, da,
awesome.
da, da, da.
It's basically
Blank.
like the end of the world. Like because they keep blocking out half the stuff. They say,
FEMA camps in these
FEMA
blank,
camps,
blank, 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 blank. We'll
Uh,
take people to blank, blank,
blank,
blank, blank,
yeah.
blank. Mass extermination, blank, blank.
yeah, and you're like, what? And then it says
We were all
cease-
about ready to just run out of there, grab all our stuff, and run.
Everybody was scared. I saw it early in the morning, and I was like, yeah, this is kind of weird. And then we looked at it, and then we all got freaked out. And then all of a sudden, Flargle goes, hey, there's an onion in the corner, And it said C-SPAN, but the C was an onion.
Yeah, onion
So I just
span.
saw the span, and I really immediately thought it was C-SPAN, and they got me. So, I mean, I doubt it's true, but who knows,
Onion News Network, most reliable news for stoners.
Yeah, I actually get annoyed by it sometimes because it's like when
It's
I
so
see
well written.
when I see it, and it's like, wow, they put all this energy into making those fake news. It's like it seems kind of ridiculous, and it's the kind of thing that I normally would love, but for some reason it kind of gets me agitated in a way because it's like, like some of the news you wish it was true.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, that'd be awesome, but then other stuff you're like, thank God it's not true. So,
Yeah.
so I guess they got you. on
We
both
should
sides.
check it out. The YouTube comments are always fun to read. That one guy who thinks it's real and 5 million other people trying to explain that it's fake.
Yeah, no, it's amazing how internet can disinform as much as it can inform you, all in the same time. It just depends on who's receiving the information via the screen, So it's all on perception, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
So let's see on what else. Give us some news, Mr. News Guy, who can't barely open up the news.
Bum, 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 bum. Oh, this internet's all slow. Whoa, a 14-year-old killed a teacher?
All right, that has nothing to do with cannabis.
Well, that's just crazy.
No, it's not. How many 14-year-olds are pent up and ready to kill somebody right now? It's
Probably a lot of them.
a whole bunch of them. They're probably on Ritalin or something too.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing. You got to look at those. They're usually on some sort of prescriptions or something. That's the key. So,
Yeah, pretty much all the news about weed is the smell in the AA. Well, I've heard something about AA. Apparently, all that money's not just going to the teachers.
where is it going?
I don't know. That's what I want to find out. Apparently, it's going to cops. Because the cops don't get that the weed bust money anymore. Because you can't just arrest like 80% of the population on a daily basis anymore.
Well, you could. You just have to change the rules a little bit. That's
Yeah, like the smell ordinance.
so,
Need that money.
So it's all about the smell these days here in Denver. I think it's because I mean, for us at the lab, we're always smoking down there, and it's. I think you have to be respectful for your neighbors at any place, and you got to check you just have to kind of test the waters. Really, is how I look at it. Is if you. And living in Amsterdam, where people would come into town and think it's all legal and stuff, and you get kind of tired of that also because you understand, like, listen, this is just common sense. You don't need to go and smoke around people who don't want to smell it. So that's
Yeah.
I understand all that. It's just you can't. It's very hard to put a law on something that's an invisible almost thing that we can't put our finger on.
Oh, actually, I have a funny-
Because if they did do that, they would have closed that pig. They would have closed that pig ear cooking spot down in the Rhino district, which stinks my neighborhood up so bad. And they have thousands of complaints. It's not like they've never had a complaint. They've had thousands of complaints. But to them, it's like, well, it's still, it's just
once a week.
They're doing their job or whatever. And it's like, oh, take that stuff out of town. You know
Well, I mean, they could get like a filter to filter the smell.
I don't know, man. I think this stuff is like,
Maybe like
liquid
12.
death, basically, or something, because it's coming out. And
Yeah.
it's horrendous.
It's like the Purina factory on our street.
It's exactly like I thought it was the Purina factory for so long, and then I realized it was another place that was even closer to me that was doing this pig ears, and they deep fry them or something. Oh, it's nasty. So anyway, but smells in general are very hard to put your finger on because it's like you put your nose on it, but not your finger. But it's almost like the easiest thing for someone to pretend that they. We smell cannabis. Well, if they see you smoking, it probably smells like something. You know what I mean? They don't have to necessarily smell it. Whereas, it's almost like with when people drink and you've got really heavy alcohol in your breath or something like that. They don't smell it. They just think everything's fine, and they're rolling around and they reek like a boozer. You know what I mean? And you're just like, whoa, knock me down. But at the same time, like, how many times have cops said they smell alcohol in somebody's breath? But it's like it's either you could always say that even at the slightest, even if somebody had one beer, you could pull it off just because it's you probably think they smell like beer, and they would believe, oh, of course. But when it's overwhelming, like wow, you know what I mean?
Whoa, dude.
It's too much to ignore there. So you had so what was your big thing that you came up with? You had some great new idea and then forgot about it?
Yeah, I forgot completely.
Okay, that's what I figured.
Just Miley Cyrus doing crocodiles still.
Cool. Hey, do you think we can go to like a quick musical break so we can have set up our smoke sesh / break time? Because we never take breaks on the show. I just talk the whole time. So we're going to take like a 2-minute break this time.
2 minutes.
That way I can get my stuff out here and get ready. What time is it now, too? We need to call. We're going to be calling down to St. Croix. We're going to call St. Croix and talk to... I'd like to talk to the senator down there, but I think he's actually in some sort of meeting. But we're going to talk to a guy down there who works on the radio who has been keeping me up to date with what's happening. And interestingly enough, St. Croix and St. Thomas are both talking about decriminalizing right now, which would be an awesome move for the Caribbean because people, the minute you land anywhere in the Caribbean, I don't care what island it is, you just think about weed. Like, as the door opens up, it's just weed. Like, in Jamaica, it's lucky you can actually smell the weed coming into the plane as the door opens because they usually land right in Mo Bay or something, and it's like, wow. But on some of these other islands, it's like you think it's like a paradise when you get there, and you realize they just don't even have hardly anything good because it's such a scary thing for people on an island to grow. Everybody knows everything, you know what I mean? It's not like you can go very far. So to decriminalize it would help them so immensely because it would keep people out of jail. It would save them a ton of money. A lot of these kids are getting in trouble for small amounts of cannabis. And I mean, again, we're talking about the Caribbean where there's not much, there's a lot of times there's situations where there's not enough work. There's not enough things for people to do. Obviously tourists come into town and think everything's a wonderful paradise. But when you live somewhere, even if it's a paradise, after a while, there is a grind to it. So, and we all know cannabis is great for stress relief, great for, keeping people from getting aggressive or crazy or whatever. And,
we had a stoner fight yesterday, which really is just kind of like they hugged each other for a little bit.
Was there a stoner fight? I missed all
really.
I missed all that.
It was just like kind of like a
cuddle.
Like
was it cuddle?
It was a cuddle fest.
Cuddle fest.
A little guy tried to cuddle the big guy, and the big guy just kind of stood there and laughed. And
yeah, stoner fights don't go down. So
and then they both stopped, and then they hugged and said, "Well, you're kind of heavy."
That was it. When did this happen?
This was last night.
Why? I understand it was last night, but when did this all happen?
Oh, this was like what, 7 o'clock?
So early?
Yeah, like right when the party started.
There was no fun.
It was funny. Everyone saw it.
Who? I didn't see nothing.
It was Dread and Nika T, the great showdown.
Nika T got into a fight yesterday?
No, it wasn't really. They were just kind of,
they
were just being stoners.
Wow. There you go. Live. Nika T. Throwdown, according to Flargle. I didn't witness this.
It wasn't really. It was just kind of like hugged.
Yeah, no, it wouldn't be definitely that. It's not really the you don't really get the fight spirit, too much after you've been smoking 2 months. Fight spirit is kind of reduced.
You can talk a lot of shit when it actually comes down to it. It's like that's a lot of effort I have to put into this.
Yeah, no, it's usually path of least resistance, and that's not including getting punched in the face. Usually, that's not, that avoids that least resistance rule.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna go for a quick 2-minute break, and we'll be back on the Adam Dunn Show.
Hello and welcome to UK Buzz number 3. I'm still John Peel. Photographs of me are on sale in the foyer. You may find this hard to believe, but you stand poised on the brink of hearing the mix of the year. And even as I mutter at you, this fine work is climbing the British charts, although not fast enough for my liking. Fronted by a man much given to frank and fearless and usually accurate condemnation of the awful beings which inhabit the world of popular music. The celebrated San Franciscan weirdo. Let's party!
Thanks, John. Saturday night, after hours on Radio 1. Hi, it's Pete Tong here with a red-hot Essential Mix tonight. Well, they all are, but this is truly red-hot. On our humble turntables over the next 2 hours is quite simply one of the world's greatest music producers. He was brought to the world's attention over 10 years ago by an emerging record label called Mowax, and his first release, an epic called Influx, changed dance music forever. Since then, he's been responsible for some of the greatest moments in electronic music, both under his own guise and as Uncle with James LaBelle. His discography reads like a roll of honour. Just some of the vast array of works include Introducing, What Does Your Soul Look Like, Science Fiction, and his latest album, The Private Press. He is DJ Shadow, of course, and this is his headline, Essential Mix.
I got people who still on parole. I got people on house arrest. I got people who time to the door. People who eat no contest. I got people who serve to survive. I got people who never go home. I got people who make dirty money. I got people who tap on their phone. I got people who love to hustle. I got people on powder and pills. I got people who never go broke. I got people who never pay bills. I got people who act like they know you. I got people who can't be touched. I got people who never say nothing. I got people who don't talk much. I got people who always tripping. I got people who never go listen. I got peas on my wall and I ain't talking about pictures. I got people who still on parole. I got people on house arrest. I got people time to the door. People who eat no contest. I got people who serve to survive. I got people who never go home. I got people who
What's that? Yo, 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 we're back.
We're back.
We are back.
Oh,
Obviously,
I'm back.
halfway back. We're not quite back yet. So we're trying to get in touch with our friends down in St. Croix. They are about to possibly decriminalize, and I think that's going to be a major, major thing for the Caribbean, and well, I mean, obviously for the world in general. And it's
But then no one's going to travel if everyone can smoke weed. Everyone's just going to stay at home on their couch.
yeah, true. Well, I don't know about on your couch, but no, the idea being though is you can travel now somewhere else and be able to enjoy what they have. Because one thing I do notice whenever I'm traveling is that sometimes stuff that looks like it's just crap actually gets me ripped because it's all new. You know, new little. There's like it's tickling a new spot on your brain or something, and then it doesn't last too long. But it's like that awesome. Just go to Cali and smoke some Cali weed, and that's really good for the beginning. But anybody from Cali, they come here and they get blazed off of our weed because it's different, you know. And that's that. And I think it would actually increase traveling because people would really need to go to sort of tickle that new spot in their brain, you know. And they would be like, "Wow, come to," you know. And imagine with the setting of the Caribbean, like I said, whenever you get off the plane, there's a certain humidity in the air, and there's a vibe, and it's just like everything you think smells like cannabis, even if it's not. You know, it's like, wow, that smell. What's that smell? You know, and it's just because you're surrounded by all these awesome smells from all these flowers and things that you're not indigenous to here. And yeah, so like I said, it gets something in your brain going. And I think if you could add that to the mix, and if people could go there and comfortably smoke, their tourism would increase tremendously, and the type of tourism would be so much better because, I mean... You wouldn't be getting ripped off by the first kid that you see at the airport. Exactly, and it's like people... Like I said, everyone's there with a mission, you know, they want to get some buds while they're there, and it's sometimes, you know, people go through, like, some dangerous situations just to get there, you know what I mean? Especially, like, your target when you come there. You're just like, oh... You know, when I learned my lesson quickly. When I was in Jamaica, I was about 19 years old at the time, and I just came back from Australia. I was in Australia for about a year, and I just came back, and I had a job. My mom was on a boat down there, so I flew into Mo Bay, and it was funny because it had literally the two pilots that had to fly me from Mo Bay to Port Antonio, they looked so baked when they and it was just a little tiny plane, and they threw my bag in the back, and I got in, and we started flying, and it was like, you know, you want to see the ganja fields, you know? I'm like, of course, you know. So we flew over the fields, and he waved the plane, did the wave so they know who he is, and then the guys waved back, and whoosh, you know, and so it was awesome, of course. But I learned my lesson quickly. The next day when I decided to go check out the town, I was in Port Antonio, got off the boat and went into town, and I met this kid, and he told me it was his birthday. So I was like, oh, cool, it's your birthday, right? So I went around with him, bought him lunch, and did all this, you know, took care of him. Then the next morning, I go back, and I kind of walked up. I see him talking to somebody, and I'm listening to him, and he's telling him it's his birthday. And I'm like, God damn it, I got scammed. I got scammed again, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, last week I told you I got scammed. I got scammed a lot as a kid, so you learn your lessons. I told you last week about the Snickers bar and the Switchblade, and that was one of my learning curves. Like, you know, definitely check out the merchandise before.
Yeah.
Buyer beware on that one. And then the second one was, of course, you know, it's always when someone tells you it's your birthday, you should take a second to make sure it's for reality
Let me
because
see your ID.
they're usually looking for something, looking for a handout there. But yeah, you learn your lessons quick in life, and hopefully, you know, get something out of it. But yeah, I'm gonna give a call down in a second. It's now 12 o'clock, so I told him I'd give him a call, and we'll see what's happening down in St. Croix. Antidote. He's not very good at it. Antidote. Never mind. Sidekicks. You're supposed to be like responsive. I'm supposed to go like that. Oh, are we calling him? There we go.
Ring,
Bam.
ring. Hello.
Huh?
Hey there.
Hey.
How you guys doing down there?
Hello.
Doing pretty great, man.
So, was the senator busy right now, or?
The senator, no, he's actually not busy. I texted you his number.
Oh, right. Okay, I didn't check. I will check on that right now and call him direct. So we'll have a link with you first. Good. We'll talk to you first because we'll have a little chat with you first, since we're going to end up calling you probably regularly as this stuff evolves, because we want to keep up to date. Well, you and I were talking last week. Actually, first of all, just introduce yourself so everyone knows who I'm even talking to, actually.
Okay, well, hi. My name is Alfio, but everyone down here just calls me Fire Red. And, yeah, pretty much I've lived down here in the Virgin Islands, St. Croix to be specific, for about, 27 years. And
you're originally from the States, right?
Yeah, Connecticut.
Okay.
You know, I was born there, about 5 months old. Been down here in the Caribbean, and from about the time I was about 16 years old or so, I've been just heavily into the movement.
Yeah, and how has the movement been down there? It must have been. I know how it is. When I was in Amsterdam and I was trying to be part of a sort of hemp movement in Amsterdam, it was really complicated there because everybody just thought, well, weed's legal, who cares? You know what I mean? But when you're somewhere like that on a small island and everybody knows everybody, is that difficult?
Yeah, it can be difficult, but it's been accepted here for many years, all my life. And you see it pretty much everywhere. You don't really see it out in public, like Amsterdam, but
yeah,
you smell it. It's still in the background. It's right behind. Just like in Jamaica, it's like right there, even though it's not on the front street. It's right on the back street.
Yeah, and I was explaining just a minute ago that like even when I was young and landed in Jamaica, it's like you can't help but start to fantasize about cannabis when you are surrounded by the smells and the sort of places that are so beautiful that you just want to see it covered in cannabis. You know what I mean? Even if it's not, you're imagining that it's covered in cannabis. So are you guys?
Adam, my whole life, when I go through the bushes, especially when it rains, everything smells just like weed.
I love it.
It's that serious.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And so, how many people do you think are involved on the sort of legalization side down there? Give or take.
Well,
I mean, obviously, not too specific.
If you're talking more on the technical side, behind the scenes, I would say a good couple dozen people, prominent people in society.
Yeah.
And then on just on the regular civilian level, I would say over 50% are definitely.
Sorry, I missed.
We're well over the 50%.
Okay, well
we actually had a referendum passed. I think it was 2 years ago, if I'm not mistaken, or a year and a half ago, on hemp, actually, industrial hemp. The referendum passed about 62% or something like that, 61%.
But nobody's actually
passed it into law, though.
Yeah, so it hasn't actually been put in the ground or anything like that. We actually recently just harvested 60 acres here, and it was pretty amazing as far as to see the. We didn't get a chance to really get a great crop out because it was put in a little bit late, but it was awesome just to see a fully seeded hemp plants being pulled out, and as they were getting pulled out, all the seeds were sort of spreading around. So we anticipate that the field will have just kind of naturally progress. And what do you think about? I mean, one of the things that's a big concern from the cannabis point of view is the fact that if you grow hemp in, like, imagine on a small island, that you would probably wipe out a lot of the outdoor growers. Is that a scary thing for anybody down there?
Hemp OG.
It's definitely in all our minds, especially people in the know.
Yeah, I mean,
But,
because it is it can travel easily 5 miles, and you pretty much want to do like a 20-mile safety zone just in case. Also for people moving in and out of this place, that's also, like, wind is one thing, but of course if somebody's working in a field and then they come home and then they wreck their guy's garden next door, that's no good, is it? that would be my only concern on a smaller island to be growing hemp massively. But I believe it is the way.
If it did pass, we'd have to do like greenhouse setups.
Yeah.
To do outdoor kind of. That'd be the only way.
Yeah, and so the senator that I'll be talking with, he's obviously pro for this whole movement. And is he signed? And he's writing is he responsible for writing it, or?
The bill was written from his office. With other attorneys helping out, but yeah, he was the man responsible for actually writing the bill.
Awesome. So, all right, we're going to give him a call in a second. It's great to talk to you on the air finally, because I know you're on the air down there. What is this? How can people listen to you down there if they want to? You do internet radio, or you're on you have your own slots?
Actually, I don't have my own show. I pretty much do all the behind the scenes for every radio station down here almost.
That's just like our guy right here. We got our guy. There he is. There he was. Oh, you saw him? Did you actually got on the camera? You're not allowed to do that.
Whoa,
you're not. It's in the contract.
Like.
You're not allowed to.
You know what you look like.
They know. There's actually a person. Yeah. They thought there was all robots. But I tried to make it look like it was robots, but no, we have human beings here too running the show, and it's
exactly.
So,
cool.
what is the links though that we can listen to some of the shows that you're producing?
On the AM, I run an AM station also where we have a bunch of different talk shows, ranging from like former senators that are on. Matter of fact, I have to definitely give a lot of thanks to Senator Holland Redfield. That was the show that you were actually on, Adam. Remember about 3 months ago?
Yeah, I do. It was awesome.
Yeah.
And he's been doing this for a while too, right? He's been on the fight side of this whole industry for a little while too, or just been very pro.
Yeah. This for the Senator Redfield, that was pretty recent. This year, like earlier this year, like I was actually able to educate him enough that he can make a better decision.
Cool. So we're going to call Senator Nelson in a minute, and then basically this show is every Wednesday. We're now changed the name to the Adam Dunn Show because makes it a little more clear who the hell you're talking to, right? And so I definitely want to keep up with you and give you a call and sort of see what's up, and you just give me an update, and I'll call you on the air so we can kind of tell everybody what's going down.
All right, sounds great.
All right, man, take care.
All
Thank you.
See you, dude. Bye.
Okay, so let me see that first before you call him. And I'm going to give you, one sec here, look up, no, it's good, we're good. Give him a call. So we're going to give the senator a call and see what's going down.
The senator. Good evening, Senator.
Good afternoon, Senator Nelson's office. How may I help?
Hello. This is a radio show calling from Denver, the Adam Dunn Show. We had an appointment to call Senator Nelson right now. I was wondering if he was available.
Yes, sir. Hold 1 second, please.
Thank you. We don't get to talk to senators that often.
This is exciting. Boom, 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 boom. I'm sorry, your phone.
Hello, sir?
Yes.
1 second, please.
Thank you very much.
Sweet. It's going to be exciting.
Good afternoon, Senator Nelson.
Hello, Senator Nelson. This is Adam Dunn from Denver, Colorado. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well, Mr. Dunn, and yourself?
I'm doing great. So we got your number from our buddy there, Mr. Faya himself.
Yeah.
And he's been keeping me up to date with what you've been up to, and it's quite exciting.
Yeah. Kind of.
Well, not kind of. It's big news for us. I mean, Denver, as you've seen, Denver's definitely on the kind of cutting edge for America right now. But it sounds like you're on the cutting edge for the Caribbean, though.
Well, yeah, I wanted to be ahead of Denver, to be honest. I wanted to be further along the way, but as you know, we have to convince our public that.
Well, we're glad we made it first.
Trend.
But no, it's awesome to hear. I mean, I think it's going global myself. You know, we have people. There's a drug policy alliance going on here. It's basically everyone coming from all over the world to discuss the different policies and how we're going to adapt to this new sort of world that we're in. And I definitely think. I don't know if anybody's up here representing you guys. Is there anybody up?
No. Is there a conference or something?
Yeah, it's it's a big. Well, it's right now. You're a little late. You're a little late right now if you want to get in there. But I definitely want to. I'm trying to tell as many people what's going on in your situation because I don't think enough people know, and you have to get everyone to know what's going on. But I really believe that you're doing a great thing because you, along with other places like Uruguay, I have people here from Uruguay, and they are definitely leading the edge. I mean, they're actually beating us to the punch when it comes to even taking responsibility for their citizens, you know?
Yeah, it's a government-supported initiative, government-sponsored initiative.
Which is a huge thing, I mean, yeah. And they want to bring the price down to $1 a gram, I heard.
Yeah, to be frankly honest here, we've been forced to resort to taking baby steps. The initiative, we have a bill coming up in committee. I have a bill 30-0018 coming up in committee on Friday, and it's a step to decriminalize marijuana, at least reduce the penalty for simple possession. And I'm hopeful to have the support of my colleagues. It seems like they are going to be supportive. The big discussion seems to be around how much we will be classified as simple possession.
Mm-hmm.
But I suspect the greatest response is going to come around the quantity, but it appears that they're very much supportive of decriminalization. I did not get the same response when I had a referendum on last election. I was trying to get a referendum on last election relative to medicinal marijuana. But I believe over what has happened between Colorado and Washington and what's taking place throughout the states, I believe more and more people are waking up to the idea.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, I think it's quite interesting that here in America, it actually went from medical to recreational, but then obviously some states might just leapfrog straight to recreational because of the way that the situation's going. And but the medical thing here, I think, has been really interesting because it's protected people. Do you think? I mean, how many people do you think, percentage-wise, for instance, are incarcerated there for like simple possession? Is it a lot of? Is it really that harsh there, or is it?
Well, we call them the Monday morning cases. Every Monday morning, the AG's office is congested with adjudicating cases where people have been arrested over the weekend for simple possession.
Sure.
Sometimes they may not get incarcerated, but they definitely go through the process in the judicial system, and they have they get a record.
Exactly, they have a record of
even
that time.
So that is an issue. We spoke to the director of the Department of Corrections recently, and he has stated that he doesn't have many that's in there for just possession.
Yeah.
He says that most seem to have some other violation attached to them. So it was not just merely simple possession, but I've seen the stats, and I do believe that we're targeted. I do believe that the application of laws as it relates to possession of marijuana targets minorities. It's clear.
Yeah, it's very much like New York.
That it's time for people to be able to be frankly honest, to make an adult choice of whether or not they want to participate, whether it's for medicinal or recreational purposes.
Sure. I mean, it sounds a little bit like how New York compared to, you have the East Coast and the West Coast mentality. And on the West Coast, obviously, it's like much more loose. New York, on the other hand, always had this sort of stop and frisk policy, which I'm sure you're familiar with, which definitely targeted minorities and definitely exactly as you explained Monday morning, because what they would do is cruise around in New York on Friday and Saturday night and pick up everybody they see with smoking cannabis and hold them in the whole weekend and make it just extra uncomfortable for them. And again, not a huge deal. They just have to go to court or something like that, but it was the hassle, you know what I mean? And it was also getting them into the system. And then once they're in the system, now you have a chance to get even in more trouble because, you step up.
He can't get gainfully employed.
And exactly, and that's the other thing. And maybe he can't vote. Or here in Colorado, one of the weird aspects is you can't work in the industry where you've gotten in trouble from. So like if you got busted for growing, you can't work in the growing industry here.
It's
So
illegal. You can't participate in the economic boom around it.
Exactly. So it's been kind of like a rough one for a lot of people here because they, maybe they were doing it as well as they could at a certain point, but it wasn't quite legal yet. They got in trouble, and then now they're watching these other people just roll in and be able to do it.
But now that it's legal, they don't their cases. Don't they throw the the previous cases or the record for those who have been.
Well, not so much previous. They're definitely dropping a lot of it. They definitely dropped a lot of the cases that were pending. But as far as going back and retroactively doing anything about it, I haven't heard too many like dream stories where somebody got their whatever back. But the reality is, I think we have changed our attitude here for sure. But at the same time, we have actually some crazy things going on here in Colorado. They were trying to create a new law against the smell of cannabis. So yes, it's legal, but we can't smell it, And so I think it's going to get struck down. It doesn't make sense. It's not logical.
I can relate to restricting smoking in public places, on playgrounds and in school areas and certain public buildings.
That's 100%.
Around public, especially where children are.
Sure.
But I think there are just some.
No, they were talking about
who want to try to put a snag.
They were quite literally talking about if you were in your own home and somebody could smell cannabis then outside of your home, then it was a violation. They were talking about a year in jail or $1,000 fine.
That's a bit much. So, I don't think that something like that should not pass.
No, it will not pass. It's literally getting struck down as we speak right now. So that's.
Okay, good. What I'm interested in doing at some point, as we're trying to rein the campaign around here as relates for the road to legalization is I would definitely write to see if I get in contact with some of your state legislators or individuals in the industry who can speak to explain to the public here that this is a real industry and there's real money behind it.
Of course.
My measure this Friday is really to look at the cost reduction or the cost saving that can take place from not incarcerating or processing individuals for simple possession, and instead we're making it a ticketable offense.
Yeah.
So that we can experience greatly reduced costs as it relates to our justice system, and monies can be used otherwise. But ultimately, where we're headed is trying to get where you're at as it relates to the laws, the relaxation of the laws relative to use, whether for medicinal or recreational purposes.
That sounds really great. And on a side note, one of the ideas that I was talking with our mutual friend there about was, I think it would be a good idea for us to maybe possibly try to create a sister city between Denver and your state capital to sort of bridge the gap between our places and maybe get people here interested in coming to see what you're up to. And obviously we'd love to see as many people coming up from your spot to see what we're up to, and we could get the ball rolling. So maybe sister cities would be a little thing that we could start working on together.
Well, I would definitely love that, and keep in mind we have nice neutral weather all year round for some great outdoor growing. So when you're cold, and there are people who prefer organic outdoor,
of course,
we can be able to fill the gap.
Exactly. And I think also just what we were explaining earlier was that, as the places become more decriminalized and accepting, that not only does the tourism will boom because of the fact that people will go there, but we were explaining earlier that it's a type of tourism that is a lot better too, because the people coming to have a smoke on an island in the Caribbean are definitely not you're not your football hooligans at that point. I don't think so. You're going to end up with a really good crowd of people coming through who not only appreciate what they are going to get, but at the same time, it's completely opposite of what we're doing here, because here it's all indoor mostly. There's outdoor some, but it's mostly indoor, and it's we love our winter, and at the same time, we can go down and experience summer with you anytime, which is awesome.
Exactly, and so we definitely can have that discussion, because I think there's room for it, and I want to be at the forefront in the region here. I would like for this American territory in the Caribbean to be on top of this rising surf. I can't try to explain enough to our populace of the economic value of making this move, and that's where I'm looking for the assistance and any help I can get from around the globe to help to spread the message here, because Caribbean-wise, I sure would not want to be left in the afterdraft.
Of course, I mean, especially since for the longest time, people traveled to the Caribbean, Jamaica, all of the islands, and everybody had
expected to get a good talk.
Always expecting it, and it ended up probably coming from some other place completely, and that's a shame, especially when you have a beautiful climate like that. So we're gonna leave you off at that, and we're going to keep in touch with you, though, because we really want to, like I said, I would love to create a sort of a sister city between us and be able to get communication going. And I've got a bunch of people that I'll get you in touch with, so I'll be calling you personally and giving you all those numbers myself.
Okay, good. Well, let's stay connected and let's see what we can make happen. I think, we need to continue this campaign moving forward. This is the revolution. This is the revolution. This is the new boom in America. So I'm happy to be part of it.
Yeah.
And I appreciate the call, and I look forward to our future relationships.
Sounds great. Thank you, Senator Nelson. And Denver says we're all coming down. Basically, everybody in the room says they're coming down to see you. So,
well, please let's make arrangements. Come on, check us out, man. See what we got. I would like for you to do that. Let's seriously work on that.
Yes, for sure. Thank you very much, Senator.
Okay, guys. Stay positive.
Care. Bye.
One love.
So there you have it. Some major news here. We're creating sister cities on the air as we speak. No, I mean, as you see, this is global stuff. We're going to definitely get him in touch with a few people over here that I can think of right off the top of my head, but I'll just keep it at that. And try to help him make that a reality, because, I mean, look at you hear how close it is, right? He's already got it past stage 1. We're moving on to stage 2. Over half the population wants it. They just need to be convinced that it's equitable, and I don't think there's anything more equitable than cannabis in the world right now, because of the fact that we have whole industries based on it, all sorts of aspects, whether it be growing it, smoking it, packing it, however it is, things around it, lifestyle. It's the ultimate trickle-down economy. So I think if the right people talk to his people and convince them that, not only will they make money from tourism, but they'll generate new businesses, and they'll generate, they'll actually help their youth where they think people have this misconception that cannabis is going to hurt them. But in the reality is most of these kids have access to everything that they want when they're 16 years old already. So directing them towards more cannabis and less other drugs would be a great thing for the whole society, as a whole, I should say. What do you think, Sidekick? Was that pretty impressive? Talking to senators, you're like in shock over here.
I'm in shock.
Shock and awe.
What happened?
One dab too much.
One dab too much.
So, not sure about. We're gonna check out about Bobby B. I'm not sure because, like I said, it's hard to get people up out of bed after a long night of DJing. So, I'll give him a call in a second, and we'll see what's going down. What time we got here? We got about 12:30. Need to take another little quick 2-minute break so I can check online and try to make a few connections here and see who and if we have anybody else. Otherwise, it's just me talking for the next half hour with him interrupting me every so often. So, be back in 2 minutes.
back set down. Sound clash best as them sound a gun scout. When come in a clash and them a run at them out. Play one top of this so them run the road. My song get vexed so it dust and sun out. How they want to find out if they make them song get promote. Send to the clash the song but we run the road. Play with first up and just knock them song out. I saw the jump and get the soul.
me them wanna do part of it. Watch out for me, come and teach and do this.
Are we back on? Oh, we're back on. So, no.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Welcome back to the radio show.
So we had the senator on the air, and I'm trying to get Bobby B from Cottonmouth Kings on next, but we'll see. Played last night at the Hood Lab, and he was sleeping, so, you know. We'll see. In the meantime, I will do a big dab, and Flargle will probably not have some news for you. But he may, if he turns on his computer for once during this episode and actually does his job
Well,
as
there's
a
nothing
sidekick.
going on. Like, everyone's all caught up about the smell of weed.
That's not. There's got to be more news than the smell of weed and crocodile and Miley Cyrus shooting up crocodile.
I don't know where. Oh, Uruguay wants to sell marijuana for $1 a gram.
I already talked about that. I got my friends from Uruguay here. I tried to get them on the air today, but they were staying way down south, so couldn't quite get that together. But all right, quick dab. 1 sec.
Oh yeah, apparently DC's dispensaries are losing money because there's like only, I think, 57 patients. Doctors are still afraid to give one of the many people in DC with advanced HIV or cancer a prescription to alleviate pain.
There's a hit. Yeah, DC's always got something screwy going on, doesn't it?
Yeah.
By the way, Flargle is from DC.
If you want weed, you can always go to DuPont Circle. Talk to one of those hippies in the circle. Easier than a dispensary or a homeless guy in a circle.
You heard it here
But
live.
it might be crack, so don't buy that.
Might be crack.
Don't buy that. Crack is whack.
Yeah, DC's got a real bad reputation for being a big crack place, hasn't it?
Yeah, and
I mean, well, the mayor was smoking crack, so that probably helped boost that whole
hey kids,
reputation.
don't smoke crack, but you become mayor.
They actually voted him back.
Yeah, he's actually a really good person because he controls the violence.
Yeah. But that's actually what happens a lot of times. You know, people are in situations where either they're a politician who's corrupt and takes care of everybody because he knows that they'll take care of him in some long way, or it's a full-on criminal who runs the town because he makes, they're smart enough to know that they want to give back to the community because then the community will protect them. So,
Hey, we had brand new marble curbs every single year in Georgetown when Marion Barry was in office.
That's useful.
Yeah.
Is that for like smashing people down on the teeth on the marble teeth crunchers?
Yeah.
Ouch.
It wasn't like every year, but we haven't had new curbs.
Why would you need marble? Why would you need a new one every year? Does it wear out or something?
Yeah,
marble.
because
marble's supposed to last for a few millennium.
Because it's not as shiny.
The shiny?
It's not as shiny.
I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm
You
not a
gotta
marble.
waste money.
I'm not a mason or a marble expert. So, my grandfather was a mason, though. By the way, I didn't get it. I didn't know that until after he died, but kind of crazy. He had a little hat and everything. He had a little thing. I don't know. It's kind of I'm definitely tripped out by masons. By the way.
Ooh.
Big conspiracy nut sometimes. Should we go?
Did you
Should we
say
just go
Mason
full
building?
conspiracy now? Should the whole show just be about conspiracies and crazy? Yeah.
String cheese and conspiracies.
There you go.
Our new radio show. They're watching you, man. We're gonna start coming out with tinfoil hats and like
Do the whole
cameras
thing.
to
We might
watch
as
the
well,
cameras.
right? That definitely gets way more. That'll get way more views.
Yeah, tinfoil hats and bong rips.
Oh, not the text I was waiting for. Anyway.
Womp
Womp
womp.
womp. Womp womp womp. So we got to go down to Champs in a little bit. I don't know if you're in Denver right now and you have a business that's related to cannabis, whether it be a head shop or a dispensary, you should come down to Champs. Check it out. Today was going to be an awesome day because first day is always like set up. Everyone's checking each other out. And right now we're full steam down there. And
Chugga.
yeah, and it's going to be a real busy day. There's some great products. If you have empty shelves and you want to sell pens like everyone's going out of style, you get a chance to talk to other people directly instead of buying them and finding out they're crap, which has been the sort of norm with those things, But I think there's enough. Now it seems to be filtering down. Like there was so many at the last show that aren't there now that I think they just kind of figured out that they either consolidated or started over or changed their name. Or it's amazing this industry, how much it evolves in a good way and a bad way so much because it's so incestuous and changing every time. And, it's kind of hard. Our brand has been around for 20 years plus, and it's very rare to find anything that goes that long just because, this show that I'm at right now is like I think the last show that we actually took a booth personally at, because I had other distributors there, was in like 1999 or something. So it was a long time ago. Same people, whole bunch of different companies. You know, everyone's evolved and changed, stayed in the industry, but maybe not the same company. And that's one of our strong points. I'll have to say we are definitely one of the longest lasting hemp companies in the world at this point, and it's going to continue to be that way unless we disappear, but I don't think that's going to happen. And Hoodlam will be so we're representing Hoodlam and Hood Lab down there at Champs, and our booth number is 533. So if you're down there, you're just right in the center, come check us out today. Flargle's going to probably be there too. I don't know if he's going to be useful at all, but
I want to look at some glass.
Yeah, be careful.
All right.
Be careful.
Oh yeah.
Bing bang pow.
I should just like hide the Hood Lab part of it and just remove all forms of ID and wander off. I swear I'm not who I am.
Flargle's going to be holding it down now at the booth. And what else we got going on this week?
Are we allowed to say?
No. Never mind. Secret things going down. Oh, here we go. New website. There you go. Announce the new website. Come on,
we got a new website. The e-store's not up yet. We kind of had to wait because the government decided to, not.
Oh yeah, right when we decided to do something official, the government went out of business. So I was like, we couldn't even get an EIN number to start our new thing and switch our thing over. I was like, oh my god.
Thank you, United States government.
But they're back on now. I don't know. I don't even want to dare to go down the building now. It's going to be a nightmare because
everyone's got
it's going to be just people frantic with I couldn't file. So yeah, we got our new website up. Give them the announce it. Come on.
So it's hoodlabstore.com, and then also Hoodlab San Francisco, hoodlabsf.com is up. That e-store will also hopefully be running real soon.
Oh, there you go. Direct from him.
Real soon.
Responsible. So the actual e-store, which is going to be directly linked to the San Francisco shop, is going to be up and running. When are we saying now? This week? Tomorrow? Now?
Well, actually, I'm conference calling with them today. So
there we go. Yep. So big news also out there, obviously, San Francisco Hood Lab, 1669 Haight Street, which I don't know if you can get I don't know if you can get a better address than that. Pretty much, it's got a 69 in there. It's the year I was born. I mean, come on now, 1669. I remember when I was 16 and I was born in 69, and I was thinking about that. So that number came up once again. This time in the form of shop, and it's going to be awesome. We have Grateful Doom Heads is the opening art show, which is over 20 artists, all doing Grateful Dead. Basically, it's Grateful Dead inspired, but it has MF Doom masks replacing any kind of
skull.
Steal your face. Not a skull. It's a steal your face.
Yeah.
There you go. Steal your face. Gotta say that.
Steal your face.
There you go. I'm not even a deadhead, and I know that. Come on. So anyway, in general, awesome show. Sam Flores and his brother, I think, or cousin, I'm not sure which. They have the same last name, so I haven't got the details yet, but I'm assuming it's the same. They're both in the show. We have new Sam Flores and Jeremy Fish jackets. If you're familiar with either of these artists, you know that they're both from Upper Playground or worked with them, and they're both awesome. And now they're helping us out over there in San Francisco to start our little empire, or I should say empire. And it's going to be open on November 2nd for a grand opening. So anybody who's out there who's from San Francisco wants to come help us, come check out our new spot. It's going to be crazy. I haven't even seen it myself. That's how insane this is. But it's going to be done in less than 10 days. So it's literally under construction right now. It's just this big... All I ever see is dusty photos, and I'm like, whoa, it's hard to tell from that. But, it's going to be done soon.
Nice.
And everyone that, like I said, anybody out there in San Francisco, come down, meet me, and see what we're up to on November 2nd. What else do we got for big news? See, there's so much news. I don't even like that stuff. Just like, oh yeah, I almost forgot. I almost forgot to mention the shop that's about to be open.
Yeah, we have a store opening.
That's all, and that is literally going to be.
Just open the
We have
website.
one more show, and then after that show, I have to take off, go over and check out the new spot and
California.
Meet up with all the people out there that are checking us out now and that are supporting us as always.
Going to California with a banjo on my knee.
He's supposed to come with me in the car for the entire trip, so it's going to be an interesting one.
We'll see if I come back.
So that'll be it.
Get left off in Utah.
I'm like, hey, there's a lot of Asians out here. I just sort of lost you in the crowd, I didn't know where you were. Sorry, man. Oh, was I supposed to take you home? You never know.
So if there's sidekick list next or the week after, you know what happened.
Yeah, we'll be calling in. Let's see, I got a text from our friend down there. Oops. How much more time we got now? All right. Sounds awesome. I just got a text from our friend that we were talking to, and he says he's also, not to the senator, but the first friend, Faya. He says they're organizing a rally in a couple of months. Sounds awesome. We'll be supporting that one. We need to get our logos all over the place down there during the rally so we can get the photos and be like, yes, Hood Lab. Representing at the rally.
More conspiracy news. So this morning I was reading about more Snowden stuff. For those you don't know, he's a guy who stole a bunch of documents and went to Russia because Russia's safe now.
Isn't it amazing how it's reversed now? It's like we're the evil empire, then they're the safe haven for all of our people to run to.
I think we've been the evil empire for quite a while.
Yeah, well, that's obvious. Yeah. But we're good at it. That's the thing. We're really good at it because we got the good diversion thing going on. We're like the magician version of the. Hey, what's going on? Don't look it over there. Whoa, what's going on?
Oh, you're right. You're gone. Wow, magic. Thank you, government.
I mean, we're just it's kind of like they just had bad style. Really, I think is what it came down to.
Oh, yeah, but the cool, funny thing was. Apparently there's only 2 days out of the year the NSA doesn't spy on France and Germany, Christmas and New Year's. So good job, NSA. You took 2 days off.
Is that even conspiracy? I guess it's conspiracy in your mind, but it just shows that they're
lazy
as hell, and they don't want to. Nobody wants to work on Christmas. And what was the other one?
New Year's.
Yeah, right. Who wants to work on any of those days?
No.
So basically, everyone should just go. That should be the day of that movie when everyone goes nuts, because there's no one's watching, so we can communicate like maniacs.
Yeah.
So it's ultimate communication day.
It's like a whole day of missed conversations from 6 billion people. That's a lot of catch-up work.
Nice.
Yeah.
Getting shout-outs from London here, from my boy there, Mr. Zola Hit.
Nice.
Keeping it real. Always, hey, that's the nice thing about this show right now is that since living in Europe for so long, I have so many friends that I think once they hear that there's actually the Adam Dunn Show, because we'll start putting that out there, it'll get a lot of hits from international spots where I'll be able to talk to my friends again, which is awesome, because Denver is definitely the spot to be. Mr. Hit was a friend of mine who came just rolling back into the shop, and when I see a familiar face like that, it doesn't make any sense to me for a second. I was like, wait a minute. It took me a second. I was like, huh? What are you doing here?
Pet owners, don't feed your jerky made in China to your pets.
Well, that's obvious. Don't feed. Listen, food from China is not a good idea right now. It has been proven over and over again. Just stay away from food from China. Keep food. There's no point of getting food from China. We are in a country
just
away
plastic.
from China.
Just get plastic.
They have a country. We have a country. Keep your food as far as meats go. Keep those foods on the other side. We don't. It's we don't need it. We can support ourselves in the long run. It's proven. But we just waste a lot of our time and energy outsourcing to places like that. A real interesting fact, which I heard, which is not familiar at all to most people, is this whole because everyone's into tissue culture and they all want to talk about that's the first thing. If you don't know anything about cannabis, you want to talk to me about, you probably talk about tissue culture usually, and it's really, unless you're a guy who's done some real research, please don't even waste your time, because it's that is stuff people try and waste a lot of money and time and energy, and you need a clean room, and it ain't gonna happen just overnight. And I haven't seen anybody prove it beyond a little callousing and a little tiny little thing growing, and you're like, oh yeah, I can see it's sort of weed, and then I've never seen a finished product, So when I hear people come up to me and say, oh, hey, you're into, so what do you think about tissue culture? It's kind of asking the most, going for the encyclopedia of most complicated questions you could ask somebody if you wanted to, but you don't really know what it's about, So, but anyway, the interesting fact that I was talking about was that in in America, we've outsourced most of our growing for certain plants like succulents and things to India, and because they can do the work way cheaper there, of course, but they do this sort of tissue culture in there because they use plants that are really easy for it. Like cannabis is actually really hard for it. There's some plants that are easy, and that's why, obviously, it's out there and it's an industry. You can look it up, buy stuff, whatever. But as far as cannabis, for some reason, it's a little bit resistant. I mean, I'm sure they'll crack the code at some point and make it work properly. But as far as certain plants, it's so easy for them to do that they will outsource it to India. And you'll end up with they can put 1,000 plants in a box this big, and send them over as a ready to go tiny little. It's like beyond. It's gone to the stage where it can actually just be held in a nice temperature. They bring it over here, plop them in, and grow them out. And it's like, they really have to outsource it to India. It's amazing. But it's just like that's kind of the way we think. So it doesn't really help locally, and I think that's one of the things we're gonna have to. Bring it all back, start working for ourselves. Pretty simple stuff. I mean,
we need a better education system first.
That could help probably from a ground level.
Yeah, I think they got us beating the smarts.
Yeah, well, I mean,
a little bit.
In definitely in the sense that we don't put out enough kids through school totally, and we think everyone thinks they're gonna be the next MTV millionaire or something from a stupid sitcom or something, and you're like, really, you really think that's gonna happen? No, get a reality check. And I actually noticed that when I first moved to Europe, that any kid over there didn't have the same aspirations that a kid over here seemed to have. And at first I kind of thought it was a negative thing, but then it became more of a reality check. And I think at the end of the day, you're probably less disappointed, and there's less probably chance you're going to go into a mad freak out shooting rampage and kill everybody because you didn't win World of Warcraft something. You know what I mean? Which doesn't really happen so much over there because they don't. It just seems like we're in this weird zone where it's like, I don't know.
Out there are a lot of
education system in Europe is much better, of course, in the sense that it's like it's. Well, maybe I'd say better in the sense that it's like a little more realistic. Whereas if when I first went over there, I was always kind of doing the comparison when you asked a kid in America, like, what are they going to be? They'd always be president or rapper or whatever. It was always something major. And then you'd ask some other kid over there, and he'd be like, welder or this. And kind of realize it early on, but then it kind of switched. And as they became more Americanized in the last couple of years, it became annoying to see. The shows that were on over there, and how it's actually funny. A lot of the Dutch shows became huge hits over here. Like Big Brother came from Holland, So I watched that starting over there, and I was like, "This show is stupid. This show's never going to make it." What I mean?
And look all over the world.
And it became huge. Endemol Productions are the guys that do that, and I think they created a couple other ones too. And it's like if you look at their stuff, it's real cheesy, but it works, and they formulate it for every country. And it's like, oh wow, they just killed it. They just made that show alone made so much money, and it's terrible. It's like it never was good. I like
Topless News.
Huh?
Topless News.
What's Topless News?
It was like some Playboy thing, which some Korean guy ripped off the idea in Asia and didn't pay any royalties or anyone. He just kept moving from country to country.
I never even heard of it.
It was in the Korean news.
You should do Korean news every week. What's up? Look it up.
What's going on in Korea?
What time? How much time we got for Korean news?
Let's find out. Korea. How does Korea? Oh yeah, don't smoke weed in Korea. You'll go to jail for a long time. That's Korean news for the day. North Korea? I don't know. I've never been.
See, you're asking a guy from South Korea. They would never know.
I ate food my whole life. I have no idea.
Oh, how do you know it's not great over there?
How? Because whenever they escape, they're always in such shock that everything's a lie that they've been taught, and then they have to be reformed for a while.
That's pretty interesting. What are they? So what are they taught? Would they think it's horrible over there?
Well, they interviewed this one prison guard, and pretty much he was told by his superiors that if he didn't beat the shit out of all these rabid prisoners every single day on a daily basis, and they were going to turn around and eat his flesh off his body and kill his family. So they'd go in there and just beat these guys for no reason, because if they don't do it, then they're going to do it to them.
eat their flesh.
Yeah, or like beat them up. Then they'll get beaten up by these guys who can't stand up.
We're kind of extreme there.
Yeah, a little extreme.
That's a bit extreme. You got a little excited.
So like,
Slow down. Yeah.
Zombies.
Maybe you want to read.
I think I read too
There was
much
no
about that.
zombies over there. Come on now.
No, I was reading about that. Apparently,
people don't believe there's zombies, do they? Really? Is it that?
Colorado's going to introduce standards for MIPS.
Oh, really?
So there will be standards, maybe one day.
One day. This is the powerful Flargle there.
Yeah.
The
I mean, I guess like the big problem with all this like regulations they have is regularizations.
Yeah.
Testing facilities.
So why'd you just throw the MIPS thing in? Is that something
No,
you're
I was
reading?
just reading. I was trying to understand what it said. It was a lot of words.
You turned it down to. What did you say? What was your basic? What was your?
MIPS might be getting regulated.
Might be getting regulated.
Might
be getting.
Might be
getting is not proper English.
It might be regulated in this near future.
There you go. It's a little bit better. You gotta have a little bit of finesse when you're on the air. You know that.
All right. I'll have to work on my vocabulary.
Yeah. Vocabulary. All right. So that was it for Korean news. You didn't look up anything. You're supposed to look up like Korea news.
Dennis
And
Rodman.
it comes up. No, that's old news. Dennis Rodman's
I
old
think
news.
he's going to go back again.
He's going back. Yeah. He's going back for more. It wasn't good enough.
More.
It wasn't good enough. He was there and at the wrong moment.
Oh, he says it was just like a party, going to a nice private island. That's just a headline.
That's terrible.
Yeah.
What? That was his. This is
Yeah,
recent.
he said his second visit was like a party on a private island.
So it wasn't in Korea.
Or it was. It was in North Korea. I guess he just hit all the hungry, starving people, or maybe they all died.
All right. So you think that's obviously just a big staged thing anyway. So
yeah,
they bring him to some nice spot, and everything looks great. Yeah, he's on his own private island, and of course.
Oh, there's this funny video on YouTube. North Korea has water parks.
Ooh, North Korean water parks. YouTube.
It looked pretty badass. It did.
So you that's the only reason you want to go there?
That's the only reason I want to go. I want to go to that water park. And I want to see that massive building they built in the 80s that's never been used for anything or structurally stable.
That's in the middle of the city?
Yeah, right in the middle of the city. They ran out of money to finish building it. And then they realized that it's just, you can't live in there. So it's like a big empty building.
That's beautiful.
North Korea.
Empty buildings.
It's like Detroit.
Yeah, Korea's the Detroit of Asia. Is that what you're saying?
Well, probably not as bad as Detroit.
Not as bad as Detroit.
It's probably just as dangerous.
It can't be as bad as Detroit.
It's probably just as dangerous. I mean,
no, there are some spots, but definitely. I mean, what we should do in Detroit is pretty obvious. That we should be getting money there and taking these little communities that are all abandoned and just turning them back into like medical friendly until there's recreational or whatever you have to do, but kind of rebuild the houses with safety features built in and
concrete walls, steel reinforced bars.
No, you don't have to do all that. No, I'm talking like wheelchair accessible, and get all these people that are looking for that are like veterans and people who need kind of medical help, and they're on all sorts of scripts or something. Get them back onto cannabis. Get them on the road to that's the key, I think. It's like there's so many places like that, and if you can do that, you can just that's the message that you want to pass on. You don't want to pass on like, oh, we're all going to make a bunch of dispensaries and we're going to get high, and then they're going to turn into weed shops and we're going to get high. It's like, okay, that's kind of obvious, but at the same time, they're being all difficult about doing clubs or difficult about having shops. It's like that. I think that's all going to go to the wayside soon, and we're going to be relaxed enough and just chill, which is the future that we're all looking for. And it's almost here, so it's like tick-tock, here it comes.
One day.
And what is our day? We're down to the wire, I think, aren't we? Pretty much, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so we're going to go in a minute, but we're going to thank a few people. We're going to thank, obviously, Senator Nelson for coming on the air.
Thank you,
and
Senator.
giving us an update on the St. Thomas, St. Croix Senate area. Also, basically the American sides of the Caribbean, which is a good idea, right? I mean, we're all in that area. It's kind of melted together. So to give the American side a boost for the economy to show the other sides, then we get global in a smaller version, which is happening already. So I want to thank him. We're going to thank our buddy down in who connected us there. And I always have a problem saying his name, so I just call him Mr. Fire himself. Fire. So, and Flargle, I guess we can thank. He didn't do much in the
Max's hands. It's on High Times.
There you go. Our buddy Max. Actually, Max,
That's
if you're listening,
Max.
hopefully you're doing
Max's
good, buddy.
fingers. Right there.
Boom.
Oh, no, it's gone.
Flar. That's why we call him Flargle.
Oh, it's gone again.
Let's see.
It keeps changing. But the big slab is Max's hands. He's a hand model for hire.
Hand model for hire.
Hand model
Yeah,
for
Max
hire.
wasn't feeling too good the other day, but we're just going to say, come on, Max.
Quit being a pussy.
Don't say that. He was really sick. See, I'm talking sick.
Hope you get better.
There you go. Be nice.
Everyone's been getting real sick.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
Scary.
That's why I'm scared. It's like some crazy bug.
We should get some.
You gotta have a beard. It's
beard?
protection. This is what. Didn't you know?
I didn't know.
That's
I was just going to get a bubble suit.
Protects you.
Just get a lab in
It's
a
a
bubble
protector.
suit.
A bubble suit. Yeah, you
Bubble
need
suit.
one. I'll kick you down the stairs if you wear a bubble suit. So you better watch out. I will test the theory of the bubble suit.
I think you have to be like strapped into the middle of it.
There is
to
no actual stairs at the lab. You're lucky.
Well, I mean, there's like one kind of little step.
That is nothing. So I want to thank Flargle. I want to thank Strainwise for considering to be our sponsor. So hopefully they're going to go for it because we have a lot to talk about. We don't talk about enough cannabis right now because we're not getting it. We just need to somebody needs to just give me stuff. I'll talk about it, but I'm not going to talk about my own stuff. It's kind of boring because then it's just like it is the Adam Dunn Show, and I will talk about whatever you guys want me to talk about, but I'm not going to just bombard you with my crap all the time. So anybody out there, like I said, Strainwise guys, come on now, get on board. And we do have on board Bolt Bags, so we are going to be talking with them. They're at the show right now. They're really busy, but we'll be probably calling in with them once in a while. The owner's name's Harry. He's a super cool guy. I've known him for years, and he's decided that he wants to help us out, of course. And we're going to be doing giveaways of Bolt Bags on the regular. He's going to send me a little box, I think, after he leaves, or leave me a box. So we're going to have fun with that for the next couple weeks. And if I have anybody else out there, just give us a shout. They can call the radio here at, I don't even know, 720-381-1420. I'll remember it one day, but, have to get the flash. Once again, 720-381-1420. Say you want to help out on the Adam Dunn Show, and somebody here will probably not know what you're talking about, but they'll try to get you to me, hopefully. And who else do we have? Anybody else out there big time? Of course, my lovely wife Cece, who's down at the booth going crazy, I'm sure, because I'm not down there, and everybody wants everything now because I already heard from crazy calls so I'm on my way down, don't you worry. And baby Nick is killing it right now.
Nice. Is he at the
he actually
show?
he actually peed by himself.
Peed by himself?
Yeah, and high-fived Cece after. So that's a 15-month-old kid, so pretty good. And so he knew what's up.
Nice.
So we're obviously and my mom out there holding it down, taking care of the babes. So that's what we're all about, taking care of each other. So thanks, guys, and see you next week.
Cool. Adios.